sorry, I didn't see you there. I was just working out, you know, nothing too out of the ordinary. You're here for the stretching, right? For the A to the G stretching abilities to test your mobility. Is that you? Are you here? So these exercises have been specifically chosen because they can show you not only how much flexibility and mobility you have, but once you reach the top level of all of those exercises, you have nothing to worry about anymore when it comes to mobility or flexibility. And you don't need to worry about your stretching routines anymore because you have the basics down. Nay, more than just the basics, the ass to grass master class. So let's get right into it. So for the first exercise, we're just gonna sit down. We're gonna be working on our hip flexors and on our quadriceps on both sides simultaneously. So see that your knees are at least hip width apart, because our hip flexors are involved in tilting our pelvis forward and backwards. Both hands on your heels, on the back, and raise your pelvis all the way to the front as if you're doing a glute bridge. So this is level number 1. Most of the people should be able to do this one for the first level. If you can't, then you have something to work on, because that would be a real problem and would lead to a lot of injury risk. We're gonna move on to level number 2. For this one, all you have to do is bring your arms down to the ground and push your pelvis up, and see to it that your head is just laid back down. Now, here we have a much more intense stretch on our hip flexors and our quads, and if we move on to level 3, we have to lay down all the way, tilt our pelvis, push it upwards, as you can see here, stay parallel to the ground, and pull in your stomach. If you're still feeling a stretch at this point, it means that you still have a little bit of work to go. If this is very comfortable to sit down or lay down in, then you're already at the top level, and we have our hip flexors and quads done for. We're gonna move on to the next exercise. So for this one, we're gonna be doing one-sided work, and we're gonna be working on the exact opposite muscles, so the antagonists of what we were doing before. So instead of working on our hip flexors and on our quads, working on our hamstrings and our Achilles heel, I think it is called, yeah. And we're going to be using a technique called reciprocal inhibition, in where we flex the opposing muscles to pull our body closer to stretch the muscles we intend to stretch. So in this case, we're using our quadriceps, our hip flexors, and our abdominals to pull our body closer forward. The top level for this one is having your hands pass your feet, as you can see here, to get a more relaxed hamstrings, more relaxed biceps femoris, gastrocnemius and soleus, the backside of our legs, the posterior chain of our legs, to relax by contracting the opposite antagonist muscle. Of course, do that for both sides. Moving on to the next stretching test, also our posterior chain. If for any reason you cannot do the one where we're sitting down, you can do it standing up, and we're going to be simultaneously working both our legs. For this one, top level is having both your hands on the ground and being able to move forward and backward without your knees bending. You're going to notice the stretch moves from your lower gastric and soleus up to your biceps on the back side of your upper leg, depending on how much you go forward and backward. This test is pretty easy to understand, so nothing more to add to this one. The next ATG test is going to concern your entire body, because we're going to start out in a deep squat position. Now the problem for this one is most people already cannot go this far down, so the stretches that we did before are going to help you to get into this position, which is the deep squat position, with some additional benefits that we're going to be taking care of. For one, we're opening our arms to push our knees backward, as you can see here, and we're pushing our pelvis down actively so we can go as closely to the ground as possible. You're going to feel it on the insides of your quads on either side. If we check it from the side view, you're pushing your pelvis down, you're bringing your shoulders inside your knees, pushing your knees backwards by opening your arms, putting your head down so you have a full rounding in your entire spine, and we're pushing our pelvis towards our feet to the front and towards the ground down. So we have an entire semicircle in our back, and it's a really hard position to get into. Try it out and see for yourself. Moving on to the next one, we're gonna sit down having both our legs open and straight. I always use the yoga mat to know how far apart I have to bring my feet, which is as far as the yoga mat goes. We're gonna start out one-sided. Pull your body in
all the way to the left side while keeping both legs straight. See if you can go all the way. Move to the other side, touch your right foot with both arms, pull your body in, stay straight with both legs one more time. And if both of these work, we can move on to trying and touching both sides simultaneously, left side, right side. And this is going to move us to the top level of this exercise, where we pull forward until we touch the ground with our head. If you can do that while your legs are straight, then you reach the top level. This exercise is called the pancake fold, so you might have seen this one before, and you can even pull your toes in to get more of a hamstring stretch. And we have reached our final test, which is for our shoulder mobility, and broken down into 4 levels. Bring your left arm behind your back, touching your right shoulder blade. If you're able to do that, then you have enough mobility in your left side. You're going to move on to the right side, do the same, opposing shoulder blade. Hold it, and coming from the top, right arm, right shoulder blade, and left arm, left shoulder blade. To get into these positions, you can either do this exercise, which is a modified down dog, or this exercise, which is an actual down dog. And to increase mobility into the other direction, bring your fingers together behind your back, straighten out your arms and pull them back in. Try and keep your elbows as high as possible in a 90-degree angle to your body.
So that's it. We've gone through all the tests and all the exercises. Try them out. See if you can do it. If you can, then you're pretty flexible. You're pretty mobile. You don't need to worry about anything. Just do your common stretching. If you can't do any of them or some of them, then work on the ones that are missing. And I hope I'll see you guys very soon. Captain Cairo, peace out.